The bill to end the sale of flavored tobacco in the state will not be addressed again until next year. The legislature tabled the bill during their session yesterday, which means the House of Representatives likely won't discuss the bill until next year. The bill was approved by the Senate in June. A few towns across Maine, including Bangor and Bar Harbor, have already banned the sale of flavored tobacco.